Kiana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militana Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakata Mahayam Dadatishvam Padaktika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sangrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvatutam Parikyana Saita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Krishna Kristam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindana Veshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpata Rupyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for the wonderful Mangalacharan recital. That was excellent. So today we have Rasa Sundri Mataji. Mataji, welcome to the group. We are starting the wonderful month of Damodar, the month of Kartik. And today's our session with you. So we are very grateful for your time and efforts. And in spite of the very severe weather conditions, you have managed to join us. So we are really grateful to you, Mataji. Thank you so much for joining. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is Further Inquiries by Vidura. And the text for today is text 3. So I hand over to you. Mataji, if you would like us to read or do anything, kindly let us know. We are here listening to you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, you are muted.
Oh, sorry. And now?
We can hear you now.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Hare
hear
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm saying we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 7, Text 3. I read the text one time and then a volunteer can recite the text and then we will do that. I'll do the translation and another volunteer devotee can do the purport and then we will have our discussion. Okay? Hridayam udyamur arshabhya arbhashyam kamaschikrishanyata svatastriptasya chakatham nivritasya sadanyata.
Hridayam udyamo rabhasya kamas chitridi sanyata swastastriptasya cha katham nivritisya sada yatha.
Okay. Word to word translation. Hridayam in the matter of praying, Udyama
Hridayam
enthusiasm,
in the matter of playing.
Albhashya of the voice,
Arbhashya
Kamaha
of the
desire,
voice. Kamaha desire.
Chikridisha
Chikridisha willingness to play.
willingness to pray, Anyata
Anyata,
with other boys.
with other boys.
Swatatriptasya, for one who is self-satisfied.
Swata triptasya, for one who is self-satisfied.
Cha, also.
Cha, also.
Katham, what for?
Katham, what for?
Nivritasya, one who is detached.
Nivritasya, one who is detached.
Sada, at all times.
Sada, at all times.
Anyataha, otherwise.
Anyatha, otherwise.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or with various diversions because they are encouraged by desire. But there is no possibility of such desire for the Lord because he is self-satisfied and detached from everything at all times. Okay, now one devotee can read the purport.
Hare Krishna. Do we have any volunteers who would like to read the purport?
Yeah,
Hare
Krishna,
Mataji,
Hare Krishna.
I can
Hare
read the
Krishna.
purport.
Please, please. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Purport by His Divine Grace, the Purport Ki Jai. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one iota second, there is no possibility that anything beside Him can exist. He expands Himself by His energies in multi forms of self-expansions and separated expansions as well, just as fire expands itself by heat and light. Since there is no other existence beside the Lord Himself, the Lord's association with anything manifests His association with Himself. In Bhagavad Gita 9:4, the Lord says, Mayam tatam idam sarvam jagat advyaka murtina matsivani sarva bhutani nachaham tefu avasitaha. The complete manifestation of the cosmic situation is an expansion of the Lord Himself in His impersonal feature. All things are situated in Him only, yet He is not in them. This is the opulence of the Lord's attachment and detachment. He is attached to everything, yet He is detached from all. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll begin our discussion, but first of all, I would like to offer some prayers as glorification to Srimad Bhagavatam. Madeka Bandhu Matsangam Madhuro Manmahadana Manishtara Kamadbhagya Madananda Namostute Asadu Sadhu Tadaye Natvine Anamunja Kadachinmam Premnarit Kantayusuram Mukam Karuti Vacharam Pangum Nagarate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatayanam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. First of all, I would like respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my supremely merciful spiritual master, and to his spiritual master, and to Srila Prabhupada, and all the acharyas in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and pray that I can be a useful instrument in their service. I would also like to offer my respectful obeisances unto all of you Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis assembled in today's class and beg your blessings so that I can see something of value to our progress in Krishna consciousness as well as for my own purification. And I would also want to beg forgiveness because I don't have my video today because my Wi-Fi is not that good. And with the Wi-Fi, it's lagging behind and it's freezing. So please allow to only hear my voice and not see my face. Next time there will be improvement. Yeah, so I again read the translation and then we'll begin the discussion. Boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or with various diversions because they are encouraged by desire. But there is no possibility of such desire for the Lord because he is self-satisfied and detached from everything at all times. So now in the previous chapter, Vidura was hearing from Sri Maitreya Muni how the universe, how the universal form was manifested from the energies of the Supreme Lord. And in this chapter, he's going to continue inquiries by Vidura. We are only in the third question. You have to understand yesterday's question. Or yesterday was Sunday. I don't know if you have classes on Sunday.
Yes, Mataji, we have classes every day, even on
So,
Sundays. Okay, I think we'll just have to bear. It's raining in Nakuru and the internet is a problem there. So welcome back, Rasa Sundri Mataji.
I'm sorry, it's my Wi-Fi. It's my Wi-Fi. I'm sorry about
okay.
that. So
It's
I
not a
was saying how Vidura is asking Maitreya Muni that the Supreme Lord is unchanged. He has heard this from the previous discussions with Maitreya Muni, and he is whole, he is complete. Krishna is whole, complete, and unchanged. And then he had been discussing about how living entities are not fully complete when they are conditioned because of the three modes of material nature, and how by the three modes of material nature, then the living entities are able to act and do activities and have desire. Therefore, he inquires, the Supreme Lord also has activities. The activities that he performs. And so, and because in the material world, everything that is done, everything that happens, all the activities that go on happen by the intervention of the three modes of material nature. But then the Supreme Lord is above the three modes of material nature. How is it, how do his activities manifest? How do they come about? So he wants to know the connection between the Supreme Lord and the modes of material nature, and how the Lord acts or performs activities without the influence of material activities. Because we are saying he's complete, he's unchanged. And then in today's text he's saying, because in the previous sage he has said, suppose the Lord's activities are pastimes. Pastimes are activities you perform when you don't really need to do. Like the Supreme Lord, for example, wants to fight. You know, creation is something important, some necessity. But sometimes the Lord has desires that are pastimes, lilas. Living entities also have pastimes. Like someone enjoys having ice cream, or going out and doing football and volleyball. You know, all these are to pastime. They are not really necessary activities. In a way, they are necessary, but you'll not die without them. So they are pastimes. And so he's saying boys, when they pray, when they perform pastimes and pray, then they are able to do so because they are encouraged by the desire to pray, to go and do these activities, to go for football or volleyball, or in India cricket is very very common. In Kenya it's football. So, but the Supreme Lord is self-satisfied. Living entities seek to do these things because they feel something is missing. Hmm? It said, all study or is it all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So it is necessary, it's needed for living entities. But the Supreme Lord does not really need to do some of these things. He is self-satisfied. There is no desire. Why? Where does the desire for human beings come about? Human beings get their desire from the dream moods of material nature. But the Supreme Lord is above the dream moods of material nature. So Vidura is surprised. Then how does the Supreme Lord perform these activities? Since he is self-satisfied. Swatastriptasya. Another word is Atmaram. He does not need anything to satisfy himself. Yet we see him performing pastimes, performing activities, or we read about them and hear about them. He is detached from everything at all times, and yet we hear of his pastimes, where he is engaging in activities that indicate that he is attached. So if the Supreme Lord is above the dream modes of material nature, is not under the clutches of material nature like the living entities, then how is he able, where does he get the impetus to perform these activities? This is Vidura's question. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport. Already he is giving the answer. Srila Prabhupada is giving the answer that the Supreme Lord is one without a second, and there is no possibility that anything beside him can exist. He expands himself by his energies in multi forms of self-expansions and separated expansions as well. So now here he's drawing a dichotomy between us living entities and the Supreme Lord. Because us as living entities, we are influenced by the dream moods of material nature. But Krishna is not influenced by the modes of material nature. We have desires and we do activities, we perform activities, we do so many things, including pastimes as well. The Supreme Lord also seems to have desires and performs pastimes and activities. So what is the difference between us and the Supreme Lord? The difference between us and the Supreme Lord is that Krishna, as the Supreme Lord, when he wants to enjoy, he expands his energies. When he has desires to perform activities, to perform pastimes, he uses his own expansions. Just like if you want to cook and you have everything in your kitchen, you have all the ingredients, all the masala, all the pans, all the instruments to cook. Suppose you want to cook khichdi. What will you require? Kirtika Mataji. What are the ingredients you require for khichdi?
So I will require ghee and jeera and salt
Rice.
and turmeric and rice and dal and water.
Thank you. All these ingredients. If Kirtika Mataji has them in her house, then she doesn't have to go to the neighbor to borrow salt or to borrow jeera or to borrow turmeric or even a pressure cooker or gas. If she has them, she'll just make khichdi in her own house. So similarly, the Supreme Lord is like that. Everything is in himself. So whatever he desires, the ingredients are there. He manifests his energies and through them he performs his activities. I'll give you a few examples. Like if the Supreme Lord wants to fight, we have heard the story of him fighting, and therefore he expands as Lord Varaha. And Lord Varaha fought with which demon?
Hiranyaksha.
Hiranyaksha. And another demon. And then he expanded himself as as Nashingadev and fought which demon?
Hiranyakashipu.
Now, if we look at this pastime of Hiranyakashipu fighting with Nashingadev, or Varaha fighting with Lord Varaha fighting with Hiranyaksha, the Supreme Lord is Krishna himself. So, and because he can expand, so from his Vishnu expansions, he expanded as Varahadev or Nashingadev. And because he wanted to fight, who did he use? Because Jai and Vijay, sorry, I've already given the answer now. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were not just ordinary demons in the material world. They were his devotees, his energy. In the spiritual world, they were the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha. Then the Lord made the arrangement for them to be cast by his devotees, the four Kumaras, so that they can come to this material world, and then the Lord can experience this fighting with his devotees. So all the ingredients were with him in the spiritual world. Lord Vishnu is his expansion, the devotees are his. He organized the pastime himself. That's one example. That whatever he has, he wants to do, he does it himself. And then when he wanted to be a child, there is Devaki and Yashoda. Devaki and Vasudev, they performed austerities for millions of years, and they prayed that we have Krishna or as our son, or we may have someone, a child who is like Krishna. But you see, Prabhupada is saying here that Krishna has no one else other than himself. Since there is no other existence beside the Lord himself, the Lord's association with anything manifests its association with himself. So he came himself as the son of Devaki and Vasudev to experience parental love because he wants that. And further on, to experience more deeper parental love, he went to Vrindavan, to Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. At least with Devaki and Vasudev, they had some awe and reverence. They were his parents, yes, but he appeared to them in four hands like Vishnu form. So they knew he is the supreme personality of Godhead. But Devaki and Yashoda, they were covered again by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, covered by his internal potency, Yoga Maya, so that they cannot think that the Supreme Lord is, that Krishna, our baby Krishna, is God. He is the Supreme Lord, he is self-satisfied. No, Mother Yashoda feels that Krishna has to eat. If we don't cook for him, he's going to get skinny like other boys. And when he makes a mistake, steals butter, now Kartik has started or is starting. And what do we celebrate in Kartik? What do we celebrate? Mother Yashoda binding Krishna with a rope. And before that, if you read the pastime, he was running after Krishna with a stick. The Supreme Lord, who is self-satisfied, is running away from his mother. He is doing this so that he can experience motherly love from his mother, from his devotee. And he makes all the arrangements himself. Yashoda and Nanda are his parents, eternal parents in the spiritual world. So it's not that he has gotten them from somewhere. These are all his energies. So the Supreme Lord, when he wants to perform activities, whatever desire he has, it all comes from him because he is self-satisfied. Being self-satisfied does not mean he doesn't do anything, but he has multivarious energies, parashya shakti hridaiva shruyate. And then he uses those energy to do activities, to perform pastimes, that as we go on in the class, we are going to see the benefit of these pastimes and these activities that the Supreme Lord performs. And all these energies are his. which are above the three modes of material nature. This is the exalted platform of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, in one way, Vidura is establishing the position or the superiority of Krishna over us living entities who are conditioned in the material world. Because for us to have desire, even the desire comes from the modes of material nature. But the Supreme Lord, his desire is in him. And even the activities to perform, or even the paraphernalia to fulfill this desire is all in him. Everything is in him. Therefore, it is Atmaram, is self-satisfied, Swatatriptasya, and he is detached, Nivritasya. And therefore, this Prabhupada quotes this verse, Maya Tatamidam Sarvam, Jagada Avyakta Murtina, that everything expands from him and all things are situated in him only, yet he is not in them. Because even the material world is a part of his expansion. It's the expansion or the manifestation of his external energy. Therefore, everything is his. And if everything is yours, then you don't make a big fuss over it. Therefore, he is detached in that way. He doesn't have an attachment for it. So this is the superior quality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead compared to us inferior living entities who are under the modes of material nature. So the Supreme Lord can act, his activities can go on without being influenced by the three modes of material nature. But here in the material world, that is impossible to happen. Everything has to happen by the direction of the three modes of material nature here in the material world. Another desire that the Lord has is that he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The external reason being to propagate the Sankirtan movement. And what was the internal reason? Does anyone know? The internal reason.
The internal reason
Yes,
was
Kirtika Mataji.
the internal reason was to feel the love that Radharani has for him.
Yeah, so he wants to experience the love or to understand the love of his dearmost devotee, Srimati Radharani, the topmost of devotees. And so for that, he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And even in that, who is Srimati Radharani? Srimati Radharani is Krishna himself, female Krishna, manifestation of his internal energy, Radhini Shakti, and who expands with gopis, and from him, from her, all the goddesses of fortune and all Lakshmis expand from Srimati Radharani. Therefore, in his pastimes as Krishna, in his pastime as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these are all his energies. And therefore, even to understand himself, he uses his energy. For us, if we want to understand something, we have to outsource. So it's not that the Supreme Lord is lacking, it's all there in him. But for the sake of us living entities, then he uses all these energies that he has so that we can hear these pastimes and be purified and want to go back to our eternal positions as eternal servitors of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the desire of the Supreme Lord, he fulfills it himself by his energies, by his manifestations. Therefore, he is self-satisfied, not like us, as we are not satisfied. Really, we can say we are content, even contentment. We are always looking for something. We always have desires to do so many things. We desire to eat wonderful, relishable, tasteful foods. we desire to dress nicely, we desire to have money, and we desire to have so many other things, right? We have material desires. And even our spiritual desires, as we perform Krishna consciousness, sometimes they are crowded and mixed with material desires. Even the desire for liberation, which may seem as a spiritual desire, is not fully pure because there is a tinge of the dream modes of material nature. Therefore, we cannot call ourselves self-satisfied. And we can't really be self-satisfied because who are we? We are Jive Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nitya Das. We are spirit souls, eternal servants of Krishna. And our purpose is to serve Krishna, to serve the desires of Krishna. And that should be our ultimate desire. But that's not the case because we are here in this material world and we have so many desires. And therefore, Krishna is very merciful that he comes even as a desire to get us back to our right positions, to our constitutional position, to reconnect us with our home and what we are supposed to be doing. He comes in many ways by his own desire, which is above the dream modes of material nature. He provides guidelines through the Shastras, through the scriptures, such as Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and the Vedas. And for that, he incarnates as Vyasadeva and compiles all the Vedic literatures from which we can get guidance on how to get out of the conditioning of material nature, on how to channel our desires to our constitutional position. He himself comes. It is said even the Bhagavatam that we are reading here was left during Kali Yuga, was spoken as Kali Yuga was going to begin. In glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam, in his Bhagavatam Mahatmya, one verse he says, Premananda Partaya Prema Varshaksharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostute. Bowing down to the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is supremely blissful to read, he glorifies it that the Srimad Bhagavatam is supremely blissful to read. Every syllable pours down a flood of prema, and it can always be served by everyone. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is Sri Krishnaya Namostute. It is Sri Krishna himself, who is one, it is one of the incarnations of in Kali Yuga to save the living entities who are under the dream moods of material nature and have so many material desires. Therefore, this is a desire of the Supreme Lord to have us back in our constitutional position. Prabhupada says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the same Srimad Bhagavatam that is being glorified, that is Krishna himself in Kali Yuga, that Krishna is more eager to have us back home, back to Godhead, in his service that we can ever desire. But because we have not surrendered unto him, because we are still being influenced by material modes of material nature, we think that we can enjoy some more while we are here. We think it's not all hopeless here. There's some happiness. There's something I can do. I can still control something here. So we are not eager to go back home and serve Krishna. But Krishna is more eager to have us back. And because he's very eager, he makes different arrangements. This is one of his desires. He makes different arrangements for us living entities, including providing the Srimad Bhagavatam, including manifesting himself as a spiritual master, manifesting himself as the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. by which if we chant and follow all these manifestations of Krishna, we are self-satisfied. It does not need us to do these things. It does not require, Krishna will not die if you don't chant you around. It's only for your benefit because you are suffering. If you don't read the Bhagavatam, it's not that Krishna will not be glorified. He is not benefiting so much. But if you do, he will be supremely pleased that you are making an effort to fulfill his desire, to reconnect yourself to him, because eternally you are his servant. He will be very pleased. Otherwise, he can do, he is self-satisfied. He can do without you. But for your own good, for your own happiness, is providing, is manifesting himself as all these items. Srimad Bhagavatam, the spiritual master, the holy name, the process of bhakti, the centers that we have in ISKCON. So that ultimately we can channel our desires to reconnecting with Krishna. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, knowing that we have material desires and we don't have the full desire to serve Krishna, he organized our programs in ISKCON in a very nice way that even without knowing, you will be desiring this. You will be desiring to reconnect with Krishna and to only serve Krishna. If you see the prayer that he gave us for the Tulsi Arti Kirtan, that was composed by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namah. The next text says that Radha Krishna Seva Pabo Eya Virasi. That we pray every morning to Tulsi Maharani, that O Tulsi, beloved of Krishna, we bow down to you again and again. Our desire is to serve Sri Sri Radha, our only desire. Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Eya Virasi. My only desire is to serve Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. But is that true? Is that really our only desire at this present moment? We have so many desires. We want bank balance. We want our children to be married off nicely. Our daughter-in-law to be obedient. Or rather, some devotees should show us some respect, pay obeisances when they see us, and glorify us, name and fame. But he is channeling our desires away from the control of material nature, that every morning as we sing this, we will get purified, and ultimately our desire will be to want to serve Sri Sri Radha and Krishna as our only desire. Again, after Tulsi Arti, we sit down. If we attend the morning program, this is what happens after Mangalarti. After the Tulsi Arti, we sit down and before chanting, we chant the Sikshastakam prayers. And in the Sikshastakam prayers, there's a verse, the third verse, or the fourth verse. Na danam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam, va jagadisha kamai. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatar bhakti rahai to keep vai. In that prayer, Lord Chaitanya is saying, and of course we chant it, so in the mood of Lord Chaitanya we are chanting, that I don't want any wealth, I don't want any followers, I don't want any beautiful men or beautiful women. What do I want? Only your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. But is that true for us at this moment? Mugo Prabhu, Dr. Mugo, are you there?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Wow.
is that true for you?
Yes.
You don't want beautiful women, you don't want money, you don't want followers, you only want causeless devotional service birth after birth.
Wow. Yeah, it's I am
Huh?
very conditioned. I'm a very conditioned
Mm.
in this world.
Leave
Yeah,
Bhakta Mugo, he's still young. Think of me, I'm still
yeah,
not at that stage. So, uh,
Yeah, we are not at that
Cosmic.
stage. So thank you. Krishna being merciful through Prabhupada set these prayers for us so that we can be chanting. So that even if we are not there yet, slowly, slowly, we will get purified and this will become our ultimate desire. So he wants to align our desires because currently our desires are desires caused by the three modes of material nature. He wants to align us to have our desires aligned with the desires of the Supreme Lord, to have us happy and in our rightful constitutional position, and to free us from the sufferings of this material world. Because all the desires that we have here in this material world, they lead to reactions, whether it's a positive desire or a negative desire, they lead to some reaction, whether negative or positive. And they affect other living entities in one way or another. Mm? Suppose we have a desire to eat meat. Then in that way we are affecting other living entities. We are committing violence. Violence is engaged. Forget even meat eating. Even eating vegetarian food which has not been offered to Krishna. Because now offering it to Krishna is bhakti. Aligning it with the desire of Krishna. We are serving Krishna prasadam. He is self-satisfied. He does not need food. But out of love and devotion and for our own purification, we offer food and it becomes prasadam. But when we don't offer food, then we commit violence. That sukuma, that cabbage that you have cooked is a living entity. So because you had a desire to eat ugali with sukuma, you have committed violence. So your desires, they create a chain reaction. They affect other living entities and they cause you so much anxiety. This is just a small example of what our material desires do to us. But the desires of the Supreme Lord, when he comes and performs pastimes here on earth, they are for the benefit of everyone. The pastimes themselves are enjoyable, or who does not enjoy when he hears the amazing pastime of Krishna stealing butter? Huh? Is there anyone who thinks that this is a silly pastime? It's amusing, right? That Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mother is running behind him with a stick and then binding him with a mortar because he's running everywhere in all the houses of the Brajagopi stealing butter. So he ties him to a mortar. You stay here today as punishment. It's an amazing pastime. So just hearing about it, it clears our material conditioning. The gopis sing in the 10th canto, Gopi Gita, Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam, kavibiriditam kalmashapaham. That for the living entities, the jivas in the material world, when they hear the katha, harikatha, the pastimes, the glorious pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then all their karma shapaham, is deteriorated. The resultant reaction of their sinful activities begins to diminish. Therefore, by the Supreme Lord, even performing his pastimes, he is helping so many living entities. But by our desires, by fulfilling our desires, we are creating so much commotion for other living entities. Therefore, Krishna has organized so many programs through his devotees, such as Srila Prabhupada, and making this program for us to be singing these songs and chanting these mantras and reading Srimad Bhagavatam so that we can align our desires with the desires of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, we should be grateful that Krishna has not forgotten us. Even if we have forgotten him, and we have come to this material world by our own desires for wanting to enjoy. Still, He has not forgotten us, and He is creating so many, He is manifesting so many activities, so many pastimes, and such as Shastra, the spiritual master, the holy name. He has created so many things to bring us back to Him. Therefore, we should pray to Krishna that we can align our desire with Him. And even if now we are engaged in material activities and under the dream modes of material nature, gradually by performing Krishna consciousness and taking advantage of these manifestations of His that He wants to use so that we can reconnect to Him, gradually taking advantage of Him, we can leave our material desires and come to the platform of only desiring to serve Him and serving His desires, because that's our constitutional position. Therefore, I'm going to end today's discussion there. It may be I've been a bit philosophical. That canto is quite technical. I tried to simplify it a bit, but I don't have so much experience. Therefore, I can only do that much. I hope you understood. If there are any questions or clarifications or comments, they are very welcome. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam Ki.
Yeah.
We have around 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mataji, for this wonderful session and also leaving 10 minutes for discussion. Before I open it up for questions, Mataji, you said Karthik is about to start. Isn't it started today? Hasn't it started today?
Well, according to the Vaishnav calendar, in
It
some
starts on Wednesday.
places, because in some places it has started today, but according to the Vaishnav calendar in Kenya, it will start tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yes.
So tomorrow is Sharad
Damodar
Purnima.
Mass. Yes,
Tomorrow.
yes. From Sharad Purnima, it will start, because actually it's supposed to start on Pratipat, but there is a what should I say, an overlap of the time, so it will start tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So if you check the calendar, tomorrow will still be Padmana Mass, and then the next day will be a Damodar Mass, but we will start tomorrow because there is an overlap of Purnima and Pratipat.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
in
Thank you
other
for
places, they have already started.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I open it up for any questions, comments, and additions.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Gayatri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for such wonderful class. I have a small question, Mataji. Like we are talking about when we are talking about desires, like, dressing ourselves, like for example, when we are dressing in the morning, we wake up, and sometimes I have heard in the Bhagavatam class that women has to be nicely dressed every day morning, like they have to get up and they have to be dressed well to please Krishna. That's all, but not in a way to for the material things, not to attract anybody else. Like but sometimes people like I have also heard devotees talk about that they should not be dressed too much, like not like so I'm like in between, like I'm confused. We have to dress for Krishna's sake, and I feel like when we wear a sari, when we are dressed nicely, when we put our tilak and whatnot, and comb our hair, all these things are for Krishna's sake and for also to keep ourselves clean and happy as well. So is that wrong, Mataji? Like sometimes there are when we listen to two or three devotees talking, it's a little confusing. So I just wanted to clarify with you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gayatri Mataji. Thank you for that wonderful question. Yes, you are right. It's not wrong. We should dress for Krishna. Everything we should do beginning from waking up, even sleeping should be done for Krishna. So even dressing should be done for Krishna. Like you said, it puts us in the mode of goodness, makes us clean, and puts us in a mood to want to perform devotional service. That's why it's for Krishna. Like when we put tirak, we should understand why we are doing it. Krishna is pleased when we do it. And it will put us in a mood to remind ourselves that we are Vaishnavas, we are devotees of Krishna. Everyone has a dress. A policeman will wear a police uniform. A doctor will wear a doctor's coat. And it instills that mood of that sense of duty for what we are about to do. Therefore, devotees dress in Vaishnav dress for Krishna to keep themselves in a mood to connect with Krishna. And also, not only for themselves, for other living conditions, because remember, everyone is a devotee. Krishna consciousness is inherent in everyone's heart, even if they have not realized it, it has not awakened. Therefore, when you dress, you should pray to Krishna that even as you put tirak, that as you move about, let those conditioned souls whose Krishna consciousness has not awakened, let them by seeing you, that your Vaishnav dress can put an impression in their minds and slowly awaken the Krishna consciousness that is lying dormant in their heart. This is what I do in the morning when I put my tirak and put my sari. As I pray, as I say my mantras, in my mind I also pray this prayer to Krishna, that it may remind me to act as a devotee, and it may remind others that they are also devotees, even if they have not realized it. And slowly they will come to the path of bhakti, even if not in this lifetime. Therefore, it's important to dress for Krishna, do everything for Krishna, even sleep for Krishna, so that you can be rested enough well to perform Krishna conscious activities. So devotees do everything for Krishna. Okay,
Yes,
Gayatri
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, very nicely said. I never heard that we should also sleep for Krishna. First time I'm hearing this. So beautiful,
Yes.
Mataji. Yeah, so before going to bed, usually we just pray and we just thank Krishna for the beautiful, whatever day he has given us and has given us strength to, to handle the situations each day. But sleeping for Krishna, this makes so much sense, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful realizations. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Shyamachandra Das, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dhanat Pranam to everyone. Very, very interesting question by Mataji and very nicely answered by Rasa Sundari Mataji. I just remembered one analogy, so I thought to add it. When a young girl is meeting some normal person, she will normally meet as on regular basis as she is meeting. But when she is going on a first date with her to be husband, how she will go? She will nicely dress up, decorate herself. So then she will go and meet. She will have expectation that the person will glorify her. He will get impressed. He will get happy to see her more beautiful and more makeup. So we have to develop that thinking for Krishna, that we are going to Krishna so that we can impress him. He should be happy to look at us, that we are looking beautiful. That's just a thought in mind to add it, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shyamachandra Prabhu.
Yes, thank you very much. So beautifully explained. And
Thank
I
you.
know people will be saying that, oh, you are not this body, and yeah, but it puts you into the mode. So I guess it's very important to dress for Krishna. If you do everything for Krishna, why not dress beautifully for Krishna? And that is so beautiful with Krishna consciousness in ISKCON, that even the deities are dressed so beautifully. So obviously the Lord would like to see beautiful things around him. So very, very good point, Shyama Chandra Prabhu. Any other questions, comments, additions? If there are no questions or comments, I read 2 stories. I wanted to tell this to my grandson because I want to tell him a story every day in Kartik. So when we read about the 2 young boys, and because I just read those stories, I think I can tell you, and I won't go deeper into it. It's fun stories about Krishna. So one day, Yashoda Mataji dressed Krishna beautifully with kumkum, chandan, bathed him nicely and put a nice dhoti, short dhoti, like how Radharaman wears them, and put the waistband, the kandora onto him, and did his hair, and put the peacock feather onto him, and just put him outside in the sun so that he to play. And obviously Krishna loves cows, and there was a cow shed. So he went there, and the cow, in the cow shed there'll be cows, and cows will be doing their daily business. So there was a lot of cow dung, and Krishna was playing in the cow dung. He found that very amusing and smeared himself with all the cow dung and everything. And his face, you couldn't recognize him because he had so much cow dung all over him. And because of the sun, it was also sticking nicely onto him. Then he went inside the house, and Yashoda Mataji saw him and said, "Oh my God, who are you?" I mean, and then he rubbed off the cow dung from his eyes, and he said, "Oh Maya, I'm your Lala, I'm Krishna." And he said, "No, no, no, you look like a ghost. You are a ghost." And he said, "No, I'm your baby Krishna." And he removed more of the cow dung to reveal himself to Yashoda Mataji. And Yashoda Mataji was so angry because she had really decorated him so beautifully. And there he goes and does this. And then she says, "I think in the last birth you were a pig." So Krishna laughed and he said, "Yes, Mataji, I was Varadeva." So when you gave the example of Varadeva, that reminded me of that. So this is a beautiful pastime. I hope my grandson doesn't smear himself with something and then goes and tells his mom that. But it was so beautiful to read this pastime. And another pastime I read was that Krishna and Balram were playing, and they obviously they again in the cow shed, and they saw 2 baby calves just born, and the baby calves had long, long, long tails. So they looked at their backside and said, "Oh, we don't have a tail, and these calves have tails." So they wanted to go and touch the tails of the calves and see what it felt like. So they both touched. Krishna touched the calf, one calf, and Balram touched the other, and they started pulling the tails of the calves. And the calves got startled because they do not know. They thought somebody is going to harm them. They got startled and started running. And Krishna and Balram held on to the tails of the calves, and they were just dragged in cow urine and cow dung and mud, and they were having a free ride. I thought that was so beautiful, and it made me really laugh. So thank you very much, Mataji, for letting me share these stories. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for these wonderful pastimes. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I think we have exhausted our time, so we can request somebody to end the session. Doreen Mataji, are you available to end the session since you started it? I'm missing Eastern Prabhu. If anybody is in touch with him, kindly let him know that he has to be present so that he can do his service. But Doreen Mataji, are you able to end the session for today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Your Grace Rasa Sundari Mataji, for the wonderful class you've given us. We've had a lot of realizations. For all the assembled devotees, thank you for joining. Thank you for dedicating your time. As we end the class, let's all chant the Maha Mantra in glorification of Her Grace Rasa Sundari Mataji for the beautiful class. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
and Shatar
Hare
Yasya
Krishna, Kripa
Kripa
Sindhu
Sindhubhya eva cha,
Patitam
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai.
Jai,
Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai,
Her
Her
Grace
Grace
Rasa
Rasa
Sundari
Sundari
Mataji
Mataji.
ki
Jai,
jai. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
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 Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Urmila Ben.